Campea Show, where we talk about movies. Fuck it, let's just get into it. First story today.
It's the best damn movie-related show.
Yeah, but let's just get into it. We fucked it up already. First story today. Scary Movie 6 is coming out, and they dropped a trailer the other day. And I don't like the Scary Movie franchise. I don't think any of them are funny. I think they had a few giggles. I honestly think they're just dumb. Really, I do. So I had no interest in Scary Movie 6. And then I go to see Scream 7, one of the worst films ever produced in Hollywood history. It is absolute dog shit garbage. Madam Web should win Oscars compared to it. But right in front of it, they play the trailer for Scary Movie 6. And oh my God, I laughed my ass off. I thought it was brilliant and hilarious, and I cannot wait to see this movie. Well, it turns out we don't have to wait as long. I didn't notice this initially in watching the trailer, but we don't have to wait as long to watch it as I thought we would, or as many people thought we would. And that could pose a bit of a problem for the Masters of the Universe movie that is coming, because according to Comic Book Movie, Scary Movie will now go head-to-head with Masters of the Universe as it moved its release date. They wrote this. We are currently in the edit for Scary Movie, Wayans said in his Instagram post. The bad news is we're no longer going to be releasing on June 12th. The good news is, due to the overwhelming response and the worldwide excitement, we are releasing a week early. That's right. June 5th is the new date for Scary Movie. We're starting off the summer with a bang and a laugh fest, so I'm really excited about coming early. All right. First of all, bullshit. That's a lie. Oh, you know what? People really liked it and are excited about it, so we moved it up. That's not why you moved it. I don't know why you moved it. But you know what? People are looking forward to Avengers Doomsday. It didn't move up to March. I mean, you know what? People are excited. We should move it up a week. That's not why they moved it. I mean, again, I don't know why they moved it, but that's not why they moved it. That's a blatant lie. Fine, whatever. I still can't wait to see it. This movie looks so damn funny. But it is interesting that it's now going to open against Masters of the Universe. And Rob, I'm going to tell you, this is not good news for Masters of the Universe. Because, again, if I found this trailer to be absolutely hilarious as somebody who doesn't like the franchise, and I can't wait to go see this, I can only imagine how excited people are who do like those films and who are fans of the franchise. And listen, while on the surface it may not look completely similar, there's a lot of demographic overlap. Like, I think there's a large portion of the audience that Masters of the Universe want to capture that are also going to be fans of Scary Movie. And I think this is going to hurt Masters of the Universe. I really do. Now, I already had some people write into me today and say, do you think Masters of the Universe moves? And it's kind of too late to move. I mean, we have seen movies move later than this, but it's rare. It's rare that it happens. But I got to tell you, if I'm one of the executives, I would entertain a conversation about moving Masters of the Universe at this point, because I don't want to open up against Scary Movie 6. So interesting thing. I don't think it's going to move. I think we're going to get a weekend where they both come out, and I'm more than happy to go see both. I'm more than happy to go see both on opening weekend. But if I'm an exec and I'm in charge of the financial future of Masters of the Universe, I think I'm entertaining conversations about moving it up or back. I don't care. 1 week, 2 weeks, 5 weeks. I don't care. I think I'm considering moving it. And although it's really unlikely, I think it stays. I do think there's a chance they could move it. Anyway, Rob, what do you think about this move? And I don't know, am I worrying too much for Masters of the Universe? Is this really not a big deal, or is this a significant issue? What do you think?
Well, I think Masters of the Universe is going to have something that Scream or Scary Movie 6 doesn't have, which is the family audience. You know, parents are going to take their kids to see this movie. So it's got that audience that is not an overlapping audience. But I think you're right in to say I think Scary Movie 6 is going to be big. And how can it not siphon off some business from Masters of the Universe? But on the other hand, I think, as we always say, a rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah.
And I think that when people go to the movies and they have a good time, they want to go to the movies and have a good time again. And against my better judgment, I'm with you. I've never liked, growing up in the era of movies like Airplane and Top Secret, those to me were the creme de la creme of the parody
Oh, no
movies.
spoof movies ever come close to those.
Yeah, and then
Never
then
come
we had
close
like
to that
Hot
era.
Shots Part 2, and there were things, but then we got into the truly bottom of the dregs of they were not witty.
Yeah,
anymore.
not another teen movie and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
then it was, although
Meet
not
the
another
Spartans.
not another
Yeah,
teen
yeah.
movie, but yeah, and the Scary Movie franchise. However, this one, maybe it was because it was very topical. It had a lot of, there's a long legs gag in that thing. And I was like, okay, but I laughed like you did. And I'm like, I felt shameful afterwards. I'm like, why am I laughing at this? I'm crying at episodes of Paradise and I'm laughing at Scary Movie 6 trailers. I'm clearly around the bend. But
Anna Faris, though, and she's like,
I-
I'm Republican now, so I think I'm supposed to be racist.
that was I was hilarious.
I died the
It
whole
was
thing.
it was very fun. And I really did like the fact that they're skewering progressive culture. I thought that
Oh,
was
they skewer everything.
Yeah, they do. And
They
that's
skewer
what the
everything.
way Marlon
Yeah.
Wayans said, we go after everybody,
like,
which is what we
Oh, no, he's
need.
going to stab her. Excuse me. I identify as they, them. Right in the middle of a murder scene. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Brilliant.
But the question at hand, I don't think it's going to affect Masters of the Universe that much. Because I think Masters of the Universe is going to be big. People want to go, and then kids
I'm not so sure. I hope you're right.
I
you're
think
right.
kids are going to want to go. And look, parents who grew up with He-Man will take their kids now. And I'm hoping, again, as we always say, trust in Travis. And
Yeah.
I will trust in Guy Dias' production design and everything that we're going to see. I think that movie's going to be a hoot. I really do.
I hope so. Because I'm worried. Like you mentioned, kids will want to go see it. I question that because what has Masters of the Universe had for this generation of kids? Nothing iconic,
No.
nothing big like the original show. So maybe the parents of those kids, but I'm not even 100% sure a lot
Come on,
of the
how
parents
cool does
wanna
Castle Grayskull look? Come on.
Listen, at CinemaCon last year, they sold me.
Yeah,
I'm going to be there.
100%.
You're going to be
Yeah.
there. I wonder. I hope it's bigger than I think it'll be, though.
They're going to sell us again at CinemaCon this year.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. Because this comes out after CinemaCon.
Yeah.
So they could give us a really, maybe we get a full screening of it.
Yeah.
I don't think we will, but how great would that be? Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Scary Movie 6, which I am shockingly really excited to see, has moved, but now it's opening against Masters of the Universe. I think the film that hurts from that is Masters of the Universe. Do you think they might move it, or do you think it won't have any overlap at all? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? There was a bit of a surprise that kind of came out because obviously right now there's a big push for IMAX. Every movie wants to be on IMAX if they can, which brought up a question about the upcoming Doomsday coming in December. And the surprise that it hit everybody when it was announced that Dune 3 was getting all the IMAX screens for a 3-week exclusive run. No Avengers Doomsday on IMAX in North America. And, we've discussed that about maybe some screens could be afforded to it, or maybe after the Dune 3 run of three weeks, they could then drop some Avengers Doomsday on saying, now in IMAX. Well, according to IMAX, that ain't happening. Doomsday is only going to get some IMAX screens in a couple of select international markets, not here. As we can see on this kind of timeline that they put up, we'll take a closer look at it here. You see here at the end, you got Dune Part 3, and then after it, it says Avengers Doomsday. But you see that little one, that little number 1. Well, when you go down and read what that means, it says currently only in select international markets. So it looks like it's official. And by the way, there is something scheduled to come out on IMAX after Dune 3's run is done. So it looks like Avengers Doomsday is in fact not getting any North American IMAX screens. But here's an interesting little thing. As we go over and take a look at the 2027, Secret Wars is getting an IMAX release. So Doomsday not getting an IMAX release in most of the world, including here in North America. But Secret Wars is. Now, again, I want to remind everybody, while it is desirable for most studios to want to get their movie on the IMAX screens because they charge premium prices for it and all that kind of stuff, they do represent a very small, tiny percentage of the overall movie theater count in North America, like a very small percentage. So is it desirable? Yes. Is it necessary? I saw one online conversation, like one guy was trying to say, man, if it doesn't get IMAX screens, that you can take like 200 million right off the top. Don't be ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous. People who can't see Doomsday on IMAX are still going to go see Doomsday. It is not going to cost them $200 million. So it's okay. But again, it is desirable. So I think it's interesting to see that they did lock up Secret Wars to get that release. Anyway, Rob, you thought maybe Dune might share some of the screens. I thought maybe they would drop it on IMAX after Dune 3. It looks like neither of those scenarios are happening, but Secret Wars does get the IMAX release. What do you think about this?
Well, it's unfortunate only because I love seeing things in IMAX, but I mean, if you look at, I'm fascinated by, like, Lord and Miller recently did a video of all the different formats that Project Hail Mary is going to be released in. And they went to different theaters, even in 4DX. And I was surprised at just how many different formats the studios are now servicing with these large, big budget releases.
The PLFs, the premium large formats, they're called. So that includes things like, I think, 4DX, AMC, XL, all these
and
things.
Dolby,
IMAX.
I was impressed by that. So I think that there's going to be a lot of choices to see Doomsday. For me, though, it's the sound system as much as it is the picture.
That's why I prefer AMC Dolby Prime, because they've got that Dolby surround system.
Yeah, I mean, that Dolby Prime theater is amazing. It's amazing. But, it's a bummer. I'm glad, though, that, look, there has been, in terms of science fiction, fantasy, and horror films, no film has created verisimilitude the way the Dune films have. Maybe Denis Villeneuve's Blade Runner 2049 did as well. I used to think Blade Runner 2049 had the greatest sound mix of all time.
It's really good.
Well, now it's number 2 behind Dune. I mean, I don't know.
Insane. The Dune stuff is practically divine.
I don't even know how they do it. Like, it doesn't even sound recorded. When you hear the bongos, like at the beginning over the legendary logo, and I mean, it's like, where are the players? Is this a live concert? I mean, it is so insane. I play that stuff at home on my Atmos system. I'm like, I don't even know how they did this. I want to know. They actually must have gone to Arrakis because they have magical in the Arakeen deserts. I don't know, but that's what I love. And the combination of the two, the way, because, Greg Fraser, they shoot it digitally, but then they do a film process out. So he gives it a pass over so you get grain. Unbelievable.
By the way, side note. So Ann and I we're lucky enough to go see Hans Zimmer in concert 6-8 months ago in Los Angeles here at the Crypt at Staples Center where the Lakers and the Los Angeles Kings play. And he brought everybody, like including like the original guy who did the vocals for the opening of Lion King. Like the actual guy was there. But when they did Dune, he actually brought out the woman who does like all that, and it was so powerful and moving. Anyway, we're going off on a rabbit trail. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Now confirmed. Avengers Doomsday is not getting IMAX release unless you live maybe in a couple of select countries around the world. Ain't gonna be in North America, ain't gonna be in most of the world. But Avengers Secret Wars is. How do you feel about that? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. Staying on the topic of IMAX and how desirable it is, and Avengers Doomsday is not getting it. You know what is getting some IMAX love? Star Wars. As a matter of fact, it's getting lots of IMAX love as we see on their release schedule the Star Wars 50th anniversary release in 2027, the original theatrical cut, not the special edition. The special edition has some things that are pretty good. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but the original theatrical version, remastered for IMAX, coming to screens. But it's not just the 50th anniversary of the original Star Wars coming to IMAX. Star Wars Starfighter has also secured its IMAX release, which is awesome. Again, look, I try to emphasize this. I really am not trying to downplay Mandalorian and Grogu at all. I mean, I do question the wisdom of making that the first Star Wars movie we get in 7 years as just a continuation of the TV show. And now that we've seen the trailers, and I think the newest trailer was better, I do, but it still just looks like another episode of the television show. I'm not trying to look past it, but I'm looking past it. To me, the real relaunch of Star Wars on the big screen, something new, a new corner of the galaxy, new characters that I'm really looking for, that's truly going to feel cinematic with a terrific director with a massive resume of success, an incredible cast, is Star Wars Starfighter. So, Rob, this is really kind of two stories here. Number one, Star Wars, the 50th anniversary. This might be the highest grossing re-release ever. This 50th anniversary re-release of Star Wars might end up being, not that re-releases often make big money, but I mean, I think this might end up being the biggest box office haul for a re-release of all time. And then, of course, I'm just thrilled with Starfighter getting that as well. Anyway, your thoughts on these two films getting that?
I mean, Star Wars has been such a part of my life since it first came out. I mean, I saw Empire Strikes Back 26 times in the theater, but over the years, I've probably seen Star Wars that many times as well because, I saw it 11 times when it first came out in 77, and then in various re-releases leading up to Empire, I went and saw it, then leading over the years, then the special editions. But I'm really looking forward to seeing it with an IMAX presentation. I mean, I'm sure they're not going to change the aspect ratio or anything like that.
It's going to be 4:3.
Yeah. But maybe they'll use AI to fill in the frame.
Yeah.
No, I can't wait. I mean, I'm very excited. Seeing a Star Wars movie on the biggest screen possible, I can't wait. I mean, I'm really going to be curious because, the original Star Wars has multiple different sound mixes depending on whether you saw it in mono, whether you saw it in stereo. It was an early adopter of Dolby stereo.
Yeah.
And there was different sound mixes that have been recreated. I'm not advocating pirating things, but there are versions of Star Wars that you can find out there on the high seas that have those different sound mixes preserved, and it's very interesting. They did on some of the home video releases like Laserdisc as well.
Remember, it was Lucasfilm and Skywalker Sound that pioneered THX.
Yep. Which
was kind of that was, a lot of people won't even remember that, but for a long time, that was kind of the gold standard for sound mixes in theatrical.
Yeah, and picture
films.
too. I mean, and when they first did the remastering, when they first remastered Star Wars on Laserdisc pre-special edition, and they did those THX remasters, they were very interesting. Some of them they had a hard time because they smeared the lightsabers got smeared in the video processing, so it was weird. But I mean, it's Star Wars has always been there, John. In the air, everywhere.
I'm so excited to go see this again.
I know.
On like an IMAX screen, and it's going to be so great. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Avengers Doomsday may not be getting an IMAX release, but the 50th anniversary of Star Wars is, and then the brand new chapter of Star Wars Starfighter, is also going to be getting IMAX. I love it. I cannot wait to see that original on the biggest screen I've probably ever seen it on. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to play a little round of what's more likely.
Uh-oh.
A little bit earlier on the YouTube channel, we asked you guys to submit to us some scenarios, some comparisons, if you will, about what would be more likely. We're going to tell you what we think the answer to those are for the ones that Jonathan's got picked out in front of them. So, Jonathan, what do we got at first?
All right, first up, Rob, what's more likely here? We're going to hear from Elliot Michael, Sinners winning Best Picture at the Oscars, or Michael B. Jordan winning for Best Actor?
That's a great question.
That's a great question. I'm going to go with Michael B. Jordan winning Best Actor. Coming off of that SAG or the Actors Award win, I think that's more likely. I think that Sinners has a distant chance of winning Best Picture, but I think Michael B. Jordan is more likely than Sinners to win.
You know what? This is close.
It is close.
I'm going to go the other way, though. For me, I've always thought that Sinners was the best film of the year and that Sinners would get my vote for Best Picture. I feel Sinners as a whole picking up a lot of momentum heading into the Oscars. Now, you are absolutely right. Michael B. Jordan winning the SAG Award or the Actors Award. Stupid name change, by the way. I'm still going to call it the SAG Awards. Michael B. Jordan winning the SAG Award was a very pleasant surprise. It's still the only one he really won in the award season.
Yeah.
A significant one. So I'm not going to be surprised if Michael B. Jordan wins, but I still think Sinners right now might have the better chance of winning Best Picture because I still think Timothée Chalamet is going to win Best Actor, but I'm starting to believe that Sinners, as my favorite of the year, might actually have a shot. So I'm going to say it's more likely. They both could happen. They both may not happen, but I'm going to say it's more likely that Sinners wins Best Picture.
All right.
All right, what's next?
All right, back over to you, John. What's more likely? We're going to hear from Z Millie. Avengers Doomsday official runtime is more or less than 3 hours and 25 minutes.
I believe it is really more likely it's under that. I just can't see it. Now, I could see maybe it creeping over the 3 hour mark, but if it does, I really believe the studios, the theaters, all that kind of stuff will want it to be closer to 3 hours than to 3.5 hours. Now, Secret Wars, all bets off. All bets off. And actually, it's a big movie. There's not significantly more to cover in this movie than there are in other movies in the 2 hour and 45 minute to 3 hour and 15 minute range. There's really not. So I really kind of believe that it is much more likely that it will be under 3 hours and 25 minutes. Rob, what about you?
I agree with you. That's a stretch to make it. Look,
when I watched saying it's going to be 90 minutes.
Yeah, if you told me that Avengers Doomsday was 3.5 hours long, I'd be like, yeah, man, bring that on. I would love it. I would love it. One of my very favorite movies of all time is The Right Stuff. That's 3 hours and 15 minutes. And I think Doomsday is going to be less than 3 hours and 26 minutes, whatever. But if you know what, I think it's going to be less. But if it wasn't, that'd be pretty cool too.
All right, what's next?
All right, over to you, Rob. Is this more likely, or what's more likely? SOS Studio says Project Hail Mary ends up being better than Martian, or not.
You know, that's a weird question. I mean, you're asking the question, so I'm going to give you an answer. But I think they're very different. They both take place in space, but they're very different kinds of movies.
Yeah.
I think that, but they have a lot of similarity. So I have to say either or, right? I think it's going to affect people more than The Martian did.
That's not the question. Is it more likely that Project Hail Mary will be better than The Martian or not?
I think most people are going to say yes. It's better than The Martian.
I did not ask you. The question is not what do you think most people will think. The question is for you. Do you think what is more likely that Project Hail Mary will be better or that The Martian will be better?
Okay. I love The Martian, but I think Project Hail Mary is going to be better.
You know what? I agree. I think it is. I think this is almost going to be like The Martian evolved. I think you can see the building blocks that Andy Weir did so well with The Martian because we love The Martian around here.
Love it.
But you could see it's got all that and then a lot more new dimensions, new angles, new depth, new elements to introduce on top of all of that. And I as much as I love The Martian, I just did we did Movie Club about it last week. And so I just recently did a rewatch of it. Just going through the audiobook, I think the Project Hail Mary is better than The Martian. And I love The Martian, so I think it is more likely, we won't know for sure, of course, till we see it, but I think it is more likely that Project Hail Mary will end up being better than The Martian. All right, what's next?
All right, John. What's more likely here from Iciness? What's more likely to have a bigger box office run? Project Hail Mary or The Devil Wears Prada 2?
The timing of this is great. Look, I just finished saying how great I think Project Hail Mary is going to be. No way it makes more money than Devil Wears Prada 2. I've been saying it for over a year now. Everybody is sleeping on Devil Wears Prada 2. This movie is going to be far bigger than you think it will. And if anything should tell you that, not that it's a direct one-to-one correlation, but in a year in 2025, when we had trailers for The Odyssey come out, and we had trailers for all the, you know what the number one viewed trailer in the world was? Devil Wears Prada 2.
Yeah.
And you know what was bigger than that? The Devil Wears Prada 2 first full trailer that came out in 2026. It's now in the Devil Wears Prada 2 full trailer that came out this year is now in the top 10 most viewed trailers of all time list already. I think Project Hail Mary will be the better film. But Devil Wears Prada 2, you got your head in a big pile of sand if you don't think the Devil Wears Prada 2 is going to make more money. Anyway, Rob, what do you think?
As much as I'm loath to admit it, I have to agree with you. I mean,
Yeah, I don't like it, but it is what it is.
I mean, look, I do believe that Project Hail Mary is going to become a word-of-mouth hit, a zeitgeist movie. I think it's coming out at the perfect time. I do, but I mean, you can't deny the power of The Devil Wears Prada too. You can't. And the only thing that I can see is if Devil Wears Prada 2 turns out to be a disappointing
Absolutely.
film.
If it turns out to be crappy, then that changes everything.
Yeah. But that's the only way. I think Devil Wears... And look, I think both films are going to do quite well. So,
wins for everybody.
Wins all around.
All right.
Every movie gets a trophy.
All right,
What's
Rob,
next?
Here we go. Is what's more likely when we hear from VectFlow? What's more likely to get delayed if Doomsday doesn't end up happening? Doomsday or Doom 3?
Well, I mean, Doomsday started production first, so I'm just going to say that Dune 3 would, if there's ever going to be a delay, but both of these films have had plenty of time and will have had plenty of time in post, so I don't think there's going to be a delay. But
I don't think it's a matter of I don't think he's asking in terms of practical, like that one of them needs to move, but if they just call off Doomsday and they don't want the two movies opening on the same day, which one is more likely to move?
Well, Avengers, because they're not going to move those IMAX screen dates. So that's why I would say Avengers would move. Probably up sooner.
You know what? I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I think the one... Now, look. Go back a few months and ask this question. I give you a different answer. But if Doomsday doesn't happen, and it does look like it is going to happen, I still think that's wild that they're doing that, but they're doing it. But, Rob, I think for the exact reason you said, Dune 3 has secured those IMAX 3-week exclusive window. Dune 3 ain't moving.
No.
At all. Like,
No.
It ain't gonna budge. So if for whatever reason they call off Doomsday and one of them's gotta move, it ain't gonna be Dune 3.
Nope.
They ain't budging one little bit. All right. What's next?
All right, this is our final one. John, and we'll start with you. What's more likely in the scenario from Angelion? If the Paramount deal falls off, WB goes back to Netflix or stays independent?
You know, again, for the record, I do think the Paramount deal will go through. I've been making several editorial videos about all the ways it could fall apart. But it is possible it could fall apart. I still think it'll go through, but it is... like for many, many reasons, could fall apart. Hell, Paramount could go bankrupt before this deal closes with the debt load that they're carrying. Okay, so let's say that, for argument's sake, that the Paramount deal falls apart. What then happens with Warner Brothers? I think Warner Brothers then goes back. And you know what? talking about playing 4D chess, I think part of the reason that Netflix, when Paramount submitted a much bigger bid, a bid that Netflix thinks is insane and that they're overpaying, part of me doesn't wonder if the reason Netflix didn't even think about it, they just immediately said, okay, we're out, is because they believe there's no way it can work. And all they got to do is now step aside, wait for the deal to fall apart, wait for Paramount to run out of money, wait for their stock to be listed as junk, which already happened the other day. We talked about that yesterday. And then step in and get it for the exact dollar amount they wanted to. The advantage Warner Brothers has, though, is that they don't have to sell to anybody. Their stock is significantly higher than when they split off from AT&T. As Rob often points out, they have had a ridiculous slew of high-quality, profitable movies. Their two films are the two frontrunners for the Oscars this year. They've got a whole bunch of stuff, but we've already talked about the Harry Potter series and all this great stuff that they're doing. Warner Brothers is in a great spot where they can go back to Netflix if Netflix is offering the money that they want.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't offer the money that they want, no big deal. We'll just keep operating as Netflix or separately. But I do think that if the Paramount deal falls apart, the more likely thing is that Netflix does re-enter the chat and Netflix and Warner Brothers gets a deal done. Again, that's not a lock. I think there's a very strong argument to be made for Warner Brothers staying independent. But what's more likely? I think it's more likely Netflix comes in and gets Warner Brothers. Rob, what do you think?
I agree. And in this day and age, I mean, Warner Brothers is essentially embattled. You know, you had AT&T that came in and didn't work out very well. I mean, before that, you had Kevin Tsujihara's administration that was kind of a mess. And then you had AT&T come in, and then you had Warner Discovery, and now you've got. I mean, I feel like armies keep trying to come to the gates of Warner Brothers and take the studio. But one of the things about I agree with you. I think Netflix would probably come back. But what I like if Ted Sarandos is really telling the truth, and they want to keep Warner Brothers intact, and why wouldn't they? You know, then it would protect Warner Brothers from other people. No one's going to wrest Warner Brothers away from Netflix. And they'll keep their theatrical as long as the theatrical business is viable, and they'll keep putting their movies over onto Netflix. It's a win-win for everybody. But I think you're right. I think that's what's absolutely more likely.
All right, guys. And that will wrap up today's little session of What's More Likely. Thank you to everybody who submitted your scenarios. Keep your eyes open for the next time we put out a call for submissions, and maybe you'll see your scenario on the next installment of What's More Likely. All right, guys. With that down. Oh, you know what we got to do now?
Yes.
We got to take a second, pay some bills around here, and thank one of the sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our wonderful friends over at Harry's.
Boom.
That was good.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Harry's. Listen, guys, you know that I'm a tech geek. We live in an age where your phone is basically a handheld supercomputer and your car can now literally park itself. So why are so many of us still using razors that feel flimsy, overpriced, and honestly stuck in 2008? That's exactly why I've leveled up to the new Harry's Plus. When I first picked this thing up, the first thing that I noticed was the weight. It's solid metal, no cheap plastic here. If you want to check it out right now, head over to harrys.com/Campea. Now, what makes the Plus different is the advanced pivoting system that actually reaches every corner of your face. You're getting 3 different blade angles for a clean cut at the root, plus a lubricating strip with aloe and vitamin E to keep your skin calm while you work. No clogging, no middleman, just a great shave. Right now, you can get the Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 at harrys.com/Campea. You're getting the new Plus razor, a 5-blade cartridge, their foam shave gel, and a travel cover. It's a risk-free trial, so if you don't love it, they'll make it right. Go to harrys.com/Campea, and when they ask where you heard about them, please tell them we sent you. It really helps support the show. And thank you to our friends at Harry's for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to this. You know, we just kind of mentioned it in passing there, but one of the really interesting things coming out is, of course, HBO is going back to Hogwarts, and we've got a brand new Harry Potter series, Except this time, instead of one movie per book, they're doing an entire season of television per book. Obviously, then affording them the opportunity to go into a lot more detail, a lot more things in the books than the movies were able to cover. And that's got some people excited. They've already done a whole bunch of casting. I think the casting has been top-notch so far. Now, of course, one of the major roles for a Harry Potter universe, they haven't really had to move too quick on because Voldemort, oh, I shouldn't have said his name.
Yeah, we're in trouble now.
Voldy doesn't show up for a little bit. So there's been a lot of speculation. There was some talk that Matt Smith might be the new Voldemort. There was some talk that Cillian Murphy might be the new Voldemort. Well, now there's a new report out there that actually sounds pretty interesting, and it could be Vision. This comes to us from the folks over at Superhero Hype, who write, ever since HBO's reboot of J.K. Rowling's beloved series of novels was announced, Harry Potter fans have been campaigning for Cillian Murphy to play Lord Voldemort, the main villain of the 7-book series. Unfortunately, Murphy revealed in a recent interview that he was categorically not playing the villainous character. Another popular fan pick for the role is Matt Smith. He has also indicated that he is unlikely to join the production, noting how hard it would be to succeed Ralph Fiennes, no kidding, he was perfect in the role, who played Voldemort in the Harry Potter movies since he was so good in the role. Well, now, according to Daniel Rickman, in his latest Patreon post, Vision himself, Paul Bettany, is now HBO's top choice to play Voldemort in the Harry Potter series. Bettany is best known, of course, for his role as Jarvis in Vision in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, having appeared in 9 movies and TV shows since 2008. His 10th appearance will be in Vision Quest, which is slated to hit Disney Plus later this year. Of course, he's also been in I loved him in A Knight's Tale.
I think that's where I first learned of
Oh,
him.
he was so good in Knight's Tale. A Beautiful Mind, Master and Commander, Far Side of the World, Dogville, The Da Vinci Code, The Tourist, Legend, and Solo, a Star Wars story. And by the way, you know what they didn't list in there? He's got a delightful little rom-com, the tennis rom-com. I think it was called Wimbledon.
Mm, yeah.
Oh,
I actually really liked him in that. Oh, and don't forget, he was in Priest, which to me was like, oh, this dude could be a legit action star. I liked him in that too. I really like Paul Bettany.
Yeah, I do too.
I like him a great deal. And I'll tell you what, if you had asked me to come up with 10 names for guys who could play Voldemort, I don't think I would have put Paul Bettany's name. I don't think I would have thought of Paul Bettany. But hearing his name out loud, damn, I think he'd be a pretty good Voldemort. And I think his stock is about to go up big with Vision Quest coming out.
yeah.
And all words on that are looking pretty damn good. So you know what? Do I think Paul Bettany is the guy to play Voldemort and only the guy? No. But I kind of really love it. I think it would be great if he did play him. I don't know how valid this report is, but I like the idea. Rob, what do you think about it?
I do too. I've always liked him. I mean, playing not second fiddle, but playing Russell Crowe's trusted confidant and master and commander. I loved him in that. I what's not to love? So I would, he can play this is more of a Voldemort looking persona here, and he could absolutely pull it off. Absolutely pull it off. I think he'd make a hell of a Voldemort. All of them. Cillian Murphy would too.
Yeah.
How do you think his stock is gonna go up, down, whatever with Vision Quest?
Oh, I think people are gonna love Vision Quest. I really do. I think that I think it's gonna surprise a lot of people because it's so actor driven. And look, you've got a crack writing staff led by Terry Matalas, and Todd Stashwick is playing a role, and I think that it's going to do very, very well.
By the way, just a side note, Paul Bettany is deceptively tall.
Oh yeah, he's tall, really tall.
Because I hover just under 6 feet tall myself. Take a look at this. He's a tall dude. He's a really tall dude. Wonderful guy
He's
at that as well.
6'3".
Anyway, guys. Oh, I'd suggest he's a little over 6'3".
Yeah. If he was wearing shoes with heels, he'd be almost 6'4" there. So.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Do you like the idea of Paul Bettany playing Voldemort. I kind of dig it. I think I'd totally be down for it. Now, I don't know if the report has any validity to it, but I do like the idea of Bettany being it. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, HBO dropped on their social media channels that tomorrow we were going to get our first look at the Green Lantern trailer. Well, doop-doop-de-doo, that tomorrow lasted about 5 minutes because the full trailer in its full HD quality dropped online. Yeah, now I don't know if HBO has just given up the ghost and just released it themselves, since they might as well, because everybody's seen it at this point. But the new trailer has come out. And now look, I have always been a little iffy on how a Lantern series could be. But then I heard that they were going to kind of take a mystery thriller approach to it and make it like True Detective.
Yeah.
And as soon as they said that, I'm like, okay, speak more words. I'm listening. That really fascinated me. But still, I've kind of wondered, how will that actually turn out? Now, forever, all we had was that one picture. Feels like for 6 years, always had that one picture of John and Chandler walking side by side, right? That's all we've had.
Just solving crimes.
Solving crimes, doing what we do. This trailer dropped. I'm going to tell you right now. I think this is the best trailer we've had of anything DC. I mean, the new DC. And you know, I loved a couple of Superman trailers, and I really like the Supergirl trailer, the Peacemaker trailers. I think this is the best trailer they've put out. Now, I get it. This is not what you would think a Green Lantern trailer would look like. I'm sure there were a lot of people who clicked play expecting to see a big space opera fantasy with space battles and glowing neon Ryan Reynolds like suits and all that. And nothing wrong with that, by the way. Yeah, it's totally understandable if that's what you thought you were going to get when you clicked on a Green Lanterns trailer. Totally get it. And for those who did approach it thinking that's what they were going to get, I understand that might then be a little bit jarring. I do. But I don't care. This trailer's awesome.
I don't care.
I don't care. This delivered exactly what I was hoping it would be when we heard True Detective. And the lines in it is great. Like when Jon Stewart's like, "You're old, you're tired, you're past your time." I'm like, oh, damn. It's like, you're just a fucking substitute teacher. Dude, oh no, but I was telling Rob, my favorite line in it though. My favorite line is, "She hates you." And Chandler's like, "Yeah, but it's the way she hates my guy." Like that line is prime. Absolutely prime. Now look, how they're going to work in the whole Green Lanternness of it into this, I think that's something we might get in a future trailer whenever before this thing comes out. For now, they just focused on the thriller mystery aspect of it, the True Detective kind of nature of it, and most importantly, the dynamic between these two, because the chemistry between these two is already fire. It's already amazing. I love it. And I just can't wait to see how this very adversarial kind of relationship between them already. This is now one of my most anticipated shows. And I have questioned it. I admit, but this looks like a damn fucking good show, man. I cannot wait to watch this. HBO has done it again. It appears, I don't know. I've seen lots of trailers of shows I think look good and they end up being crappy. Maybe this ends up being crap, but right now I think it looks awesome. Rob, you had a chance to see this trailer. What were your thoughts?
Dude, I loved it too. I mean, I love Green Lantern. When I was a kid, the Justice League was my jam, and I've always liked, whether it was Alan Scott, whether it was Hal Jordan, You know, whether it was Jon Stewart, Kyle Rayner, Guy, I didn't care. Kilowog. I love the Green Lantern Corps. I like what Jeff Johns did in his very long run. You know, when he did Blackest Night and he did the all the different storylines that he did. That said, what I really loved about this trailer, I love seeing superhero stories when they take huge fantasy characters like Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, and bring them down to earth. And like I was telling you, when I started buying comics again in the early 80s, they reprinted the Neil Adams, Denny O'Neil run of Green Lantern and Green Arrow when they sort of traveled across the country. And it's a great run of comics. I have the absolute version, which I think everybody should pick up if you have the means. I love this. I love their dynamic. I love this adversarial, you know, buddy cop, whether it's Lethal Weapon or 48 Hours or Midnight Run. I mean, I love that kind of badgering friendship, reluctant. And of course, they'll eventually team up and there'll be an invaluable partnership and they'll save the world or whatever. But this looked so cool to me. I mean, I'm like this, because look, you could go high fantasy, but it's gonna, if you go that way with Green Lantern, you leave the Earth behind. You should go. Part of the reason with I think I like Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern movie more than most. I mean, it was directed by Martin Campbell, who directed GoldenEye and directed Casino Royale. A great director, but it was kind of at war with itself. On one hand, it could have done this fantasy space element when they go to Oa and all that. But on the other hand, you had to deal with Parallax and the goofy things that were going on Earth. So the film was sort of tonally at war with itself. But I think there's a lot to like in that movie, to be honest. But this is my jam. I mean, I'm watching this going, I am so all in on this. And they're not going to look when Kyle Chandler flies away.
That looked great.
Like, peak verisimilitude flying. You know, that didn't look like, that was awesome. Because he doesn't need his uniform on to be a Green Lantern, and they're trying to be inconspicuous. Like, I want to know, why are they're training on Earth for some reason. They're not on Oa. And he hasn't even flown. He hasn't even put a ring on yet. Aaron Pierre hasn't. Like, why not? You know, I loved everything about this. I can't wait to see it. You know, I think it's going to come out. When does this come out? September? August. So August, and then I think we get Vision Quest after that. These two shows, Vision Quest at its heart is apparently Vision and Ultron. You know, and I had to wink at you on that one. But I think that we're going to have two sides seeing these characters, that the core of both of these shows is relationship between characters. That's what I love.
By the way, I also want to throw in this too. Everyone, I don't know her name, but I first noticed this actress in Boardwalk Empire, and she is awesome in Boardwalk Empire.
She was very young in Trainspotting.
Was that her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't even realize that was her. But anyway, I love her. I think she's going to be like the great town sheriff sort of thing. But now look, I like to evaluate projects on their own merits.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit how much it ties into the greater picture. I don't care about it. I like to evaluate things on their own merits. But I will say this. One of the coolest things about this trailer is how wildly different it is from Superman, Supergirl, Peacemaker. Like, James Gunn promised that his DC would not be one tone.
Right.
And it's fine if you do, but he said it's not going to be one tone. We're going to tell wildly different types of stories. Obviously, we've got Clayface as a body horror film coming. And this, which happens in the same universe as Superman, feels totally different. And I love that already we're going to get this type of diversity in the DCU. And so every time we come to a DCU show or movie, we'll be like, this could be something completely different. And I love the fact that it feels so out of step with those other ones. By the way, speaking of Superman, Guy Gardner's going to be in this. Nathan Fillion, we already know is going to be in it. So is he the guy that gets murdered? Does he come along and help them at some point? It's going to be really weird seeing such a different tone, then cross streams. It could be really good.
Well, as you pointed out, when Kyle Chandler says, "Well, I'm the only human in the Green Lantern Corps," but what about Guy Gardner?
Well, see, here's what I think. I think that's edited very
Yeah.
specifically.
We're gonna
like,
find
I
out.
bet when we see the scene, one of two things happens. I bet right before he says, I'm the only human, he says, aside from Guy, I'm the only human, and they just cut that out. Or, aside from Guy, I'm the only human, except for Guy, but he's an asshole.
Yeah, or he thinks Guy's not a full-fledged
Yeah,
lantern
see,
or
I don't
something.
think they want to reference Guy Gardner yet. I think they're still... Listen,
Totally.
I still think most people who don't watch shows like this one don't know that Nathan Fillion and Guy Gardner are going to pop up in it.
Right.
So I think they purposely edited that out. But the punchline to that line, one of them is a fucking squirrel. I could have died when he said that line. I thought that was awesome.
Grounding the fantasy.
Oh, dude.
It never ceases to not work if it's done
Dude,
well.
if you can really cross the streams here and truly make this a gritty thriller mystery likened unto True Detective, except the detectives at any point could pull out a ring of Oa and wreck shop.
Yeah.
I think this could be something really special. Again, it could be a disaster. I'm not saying it can't be. This thing could be a wild misfire. This could be DC's version of The Acolyte, for all I know.
But it's an HBO show.
But
And
it's
they
an
wouldn't
HBO
allow it.
show. And when's the last time? I mean, they don't bat 1,000, but when's the last time HBO put out a crap show? Like 1 out of the last 50? I mean, yeah, so I don't know. I've got some really, really high hopes. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see the new Lanterns trailer? I thought it was great. I'm really happy about it. But again, I can understand why some people who might have been expecting something more traditional Green Lantern might have come to it and found it a little bit jarring. I get that. I do. But I was looking for True Detective, and it gave it to me. Whatever you guys thought about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we got two things we have to do. First of all, is bid good afternoon to writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, my friend. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
And we are also going to take another second to thank another sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at Mando. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Mando. Guys, the time for spring cleaning has come, and to be honest, I'm actually kind of looking forward to it this year. I've been busy clearing out the clutter in the studio here and getting my camper van ready for the next movie meetup trip, but I'm also incredibly excited to keep using my deodorant. You guys know that a while ago I started using Mando whole body deodorant, and it has been an absolute game changer for me. Whether I'm sitting under these hot studio lights for a long live stream, or I'm out on the golf course recently. Yeah, I actually just took up golf. I need something that actually works. Mando was created by a doctor and comes from the founders of Lumi. One of the things that I love about Mando is that it's safe to use anywhere. We're talking pits, feet, and even the boys downstairs. It's clinically proven to block odor for up to 72 hours, which is honestly way better than a shower with soap alone. It doesn't just mask the smell, it stops it before it starts. Right now, you can get 20% off site-wide. Head over to shopmando.com and use my exclusive code Campea. That's shopmando.com, code Campea for 20% off. Support the show and tell them I sent you. And thank you to our friends at Mando for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's get on to the important stuff, shall we? Your comments and questions. Just so you know, we have turned off the super chats, so you're not able to send in anymore, but we do have a bunch of them lined up. Let's get over to them. Jonathan, what we got up first?
Christopher says, with great early reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic, do you think Pixar's Hoppers will overperform its box office opening weekend predictions?
Well, listen, man, first of all, I already saw Hoppers, and I liked it. It's a good movie. I don't think it's one of Pixar's, like there's a number of people out there saying they think it's one of Pixar's best. I don't agree that it's one of Pixar's best, but I think it's quite enjoyable. It's a very enjoyable film. I think a lot of people are going to like it. They're projecting an $88 million opening.
Wow.
Like, to put that in context, we were all just freaking out that Scream 7 had like a 60-something million dollar opening, which was fantastic for it. But for Hoppers to have a 60 or an $88 million opening now.
Not far off Zootopia 2.
How much was Zootopia?
100 mil.
100 mil?
Yeah.
That's not too far behind. Now, if you remember, just a couple of years ago, they had another film called Elemental, which, by the way, I think is one of Pixar's best films. But it only opened to $29 million and went on to make about $500 million. They're saying Hoppers is going to open to 88. So I don't know. Can I see, with all the good reviews and everything, can I see it exceeding those projections? Actually, I think those projections are because of the positive reviews. So I don't see it going much more over 88 in its opening weekend, but that's an incredible opening for it. If it does end up being $88 million opening weekend, that's incredible. All right, what's next?
Tristan just started Project Hail Mary and on chapter 8 already. Can't wait to see Strat brought to life. Did you ever see Anatomy of a Fall? Sandra was amazing.
Yeah, I totally forgot that was her in it, though. Totally forgot that was her in it. All I know is that I was talking about this yesterday, is once I listened to the audiobook and then went back and watched the trailer again, I'm like, oh my God, they got this girl is going to be perfect as Strat. She just looks the way I envision Strat in my head. I think she's going to be incredible in it. All right, what's next?
Dakota says, if Netflix is interested in getting into the theatrical business, would you agree that them acquiring Sony Pictures would lead to some interesting opportunities?
Sony is not putting its motion picture division up for sale.
Yeah, it's not like they just can pick someone to buy.
No, the current CEO of Sony is really big on the movie business, and they are not at all interested in selling. So no, there's no reason to even think about it. All right, what's next?
Lou says, I get HBO Max for free for having AT&T internet, as do I. Will I have to start paying after Paramount takes over? I'm wondering the same.
Yeah. You know why? Because HBO Max isn't going to exist.
Yeah.
They've already announced they're going to merge HBO Max into Paramount Plus. And the agreement is for HBO Max. And if HBO Max does not exist, then, yeah. I mean, that's one of the downsides of this. Remember, if Netflix had got them, they were going to keep HBO Max running as its own thing.
Yeah, unless AT&T strikes a deal with Paramount.
Yes, which could happen,
yeah.
right? AT&T, other services could now form their own deals with Paramount, and you could get Paramount Plus for free. That could happen. But any existing deal becomes null and void once they dissolve HBO Max. So, yeah, it looks like you'll probably have to, that deal for you will end probably. All right, what's next?
Johnny B says, hey, John, if you go forward with an Aegon one movie, would...
Aegon the First, yeah.
Oh, Aegon the First movie, would you like a trilogy or one film? If series, one season, or multiple, thanks for all you do.
Now, this would work much better as a movie, one movie.
Yeah.
It really, the story can be beautifully and properly told in one movie. One good, solid, epic movie. Listen, if you can make... I was having this discussion with somebody yesterday. Hollywood has made movies about World War II in one movie. I mean, yes. So I think you do an Aegon's Conquest in one movie. Now, after you do the story of Aegon's Conquest, if you want to do a part 2 and a part 3 in the subsequent years of the reign of the Targaryens over Westeros, okay, sure, yeah. But as far as the Aegon's Conquest, best format, one solid epic movie. All right, what's next?
Jay Valen says, Project Hail Mary got me through cancer treatment and just got word from my doctor earlier today that I had a complete clinical response.
Dude, that's awesome.
Rocky cured me.
Rocky cured me. Amaze. Dude, that's awesome. Now, I'm sure Andy Weir would love to take credit for curing cancer. However, listen, again, that one of the best things about movies, I talk about this all the time, why movies matter, man, is because no matter what's going on in life, we've all been through it, man. Not the same situation you have, but we all have times in our life, man, when we just need something. And movies and the communities that talk about them always offer such a great, what I call an oasis away from it, to rejuvenate, replenish, refresh, all that kind of stuff. And when we come out of a movie or a big discussion about movies, our problems are still there, but we're just in a different place to deal with them. And if that has been there for you during that really obviously very stressful time, that's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that. All right, what's next?
Yatu says, hey, John, did you start watching season 2 of Paradise yet? It's amazing. Didn't think they had, still had so much story to tell.
Nope. I love season 1. Love season 1. Listen, I'm behind on a bunch of TV. Like, I'm trying to keep up with a couple things, but I have still not started Why Am I Freezing on the Amazon Fallout. I have not.
Oh.
I love season 1 of Fallout.
Yeah.
Loved it. And I haven't even started watching season 2 yet. I haven't started watching season 2 of Paradise yet. And I love season 1. So I got a bunch I need to get caught up on.
We
All right,
got
what's next?
We got a $20 super chat from Zuri.
Oh, thank you, Zuri.
Says, hey, John and crew, had the pleasure of meeting you at the San Diego meetup. I was so nervous. Okay, for me personally, my fan casting choices for Aegon Targaryen's sister wives are Samara Weaving and Margot Robbie.
Well,
I could see Samara Weaving being one of them.
well, I mean, first of all, everybody thinks Samara Weaving is Margot Robbie.
Yeah, that's the problem. These sisters aren't twins.
So casting them as sisters is very on-screen believable. Never going to happen, though. Never going to happen. I think that's the exact reason why I don't think you'll see Margot Robbie agree to be in a movie with Samara Weaving. I think because so many people confuse them.
Hmm.
And while that makes them perfect to play sisters, from a professional point of view, I think that's why they would probably avoid it. Plus, getting Margot Robbie and Samara Weaving, that's a tall order, man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, listen, if they announce tomorrow that the sister wives are going to be played by Margot Robbie and Samara Weaving, I would love it. I just don't think there's any chance of that actually happening.
Your
but I
budget
would
goes
be down for it.
Your budget goes way up if you're gonna
Yeah.
have Margot Robbie,
And then like, who's Aegon?
right?
Like, then you got to deal with that. All right, what's next?
Daily Profit. Hey, John, I think it would be cool if WB does another live action Scooby-Doo, but set back in the 70s with a twist of thriller horror elements in it.
I do not think it would be cool to do another live action Scooby-Doo. I don't think there's, they're all stupid, and it's all subjective. If you love them, that's awesome. But I really don't think there's an audience for it. They keep trying to do more Scooby-Doo, and the audience keeps showing there's really not a lot of interest in it. So I don't know what the plan is there for them personally. All right, what's next?
Someone said Jamie Presley, but guys, I don't know. The last time, Jamie Presley's a little too old to be playing that.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since My Name is Earl.
Not that she isn't great, but
She's awesome,
not,
but
yeah.
she'd be too old to be his sister.
She's aged out of that particular role. She could be another Targaryen.
Sure.
For sure. But she couldn't be one of the sister wives.
Shan says, hi, John, big fan of yours from the UK.
Oh, thank you, man.
What do you think of Marvel ruining Loki season 2 with Kang, and then they didn't carry on with him fuming? I don't think they ruined it.
I don't recall hearing anybody saying that Loki season 2 was ruined.
Yeah.
Look,
He was.
I think most people really enjoyed Loki season 2. I mean, if you didn't, you didn't. That's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. Look, and listen, they ended Loki season 2 with, we're done. The TVA at that point was then just cleaning up the variants that were all running around the timelines, and they were done. Look, at the end of the day, Marvel recognized that they botched Kang. They totally botched it. And they could either double down on their mistake and spend their trying time to fix it, or do the smart thing, which was, the Kang thing didn't work. Let's just cut our losses and let's move on to another big bad. You're not going to get the audience on board with Kang as the next major Thanos level threat when he's been stabbed by Sylvie and beaten by ants. We're just not going to get him on the audience. We're never going to get the audience to really look at him as that level of a threat. So, and does that ruin Loki season 2? Not at all. Loki season 2 was still its own thing, self-contained story, and worked perfectly fine. I don't think it was ruined at all. All right, what's next?
Jay Toven says, as a show, the Lanterns trailer looked good, but to me, but as a Green Lantern show, I can see where people have criticism. So there's not a lot of Green Lantern shit going on.
I've said that myself. I think this trailer is magnificent. But I totally understand. I do. If you clicked on that trailer expecting to see, understandably, zooming around the stars and space and pew pew, which I'd be down for that too. If you hit play on a Green Lantern trailer and that's what you were expecting, that's understandable. And then getting completely not that, having that be a little bit jarring to you, I get that too. I do. I get it. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you about it. I understand. I totally do. For me, and I can only speak for myself, I thought it was absolutely magnificent. Now, I went into it expecting, because they dropped things saying this is kind of be like True Detective. So that's where my expectations were, and it exceeded my expectations. But again, I have no qualms. I have no quarrel with you. If you are somebody who approached the trailer thinking you were going to get more comic booky Green Lantern, which is totally understandable if you were, and you found it jarring that that's completely not what you got, I get it. I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. But for me, it worked in spades. All right, what's next?
Curious Chris says, just finished watching Stephen King's 11/22/63 on Hulu. Incredible series. The ending scene made this grown man cry profusely multiple times.
I never watched it. I never even saw a single episode of it.
Nor have I, but I recently added it to my queue. That's with James Franco, where he goes back.
I was about to say, isn't that the one from like 4 or 5 years ago with James Franco?
Yeah, and they're trying to stop the Kennedy assassination. He goes back in time.
I never, even though it looked interesting, I never saw a single frame of it. Unfortunately, thanks for putting that back on my radar, though. I always told myself I would go back and watch it, but I never did.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
We got Austin who says Scary Masters, next Barbenheimer. Scary
instead of Masters of the Universe, Scary Masters, Masters of the Scary. Yeah, man. I'm more than happy to go and watch Scary Movie 6 and Masters of the Universe on the same day. I am more than happy to do it, but I think this is going to be harmful to Masters of the Universe. I hope I'm wrong, but I do. I think this is going to hurt Masters of the Universe, but we'll see. I won't be shocked if it moves, but it's probably a little too late to move. All right, what's next?
Bobby Jackson says, I know this is a nitpick, but why did Hal say he's the only human? What about Guy, and doesn't the ring act as a universal translator?
Again, I think that was simply the way the trailer was cut. They don't want to mention Guy Gardner in the trailer. But I would bet you real money that when the show starts and we see the real scene, right before he says, I'm the only human, I bet the line is, besides Guy, I'm the only human.
Yeah.
So I bet they cut that out. Or at the end of the statement, I'm the only human except for Guy, and that guy's an asshole, or something like that. Like, I guarantee you, Guy, when we watch the scene in context, Guy's name will be in there. I'm just betting that they just don't want to have Guy's name mentioned in the trailer yet. Because again, unless you're somebody who makes a show like this one or watches a show like this one, you probably don't know that Nathan Fillion and Guy Gardner are going to be appearing in it. So they're probably going to keep that one low key. All right, what's next?
Austin Gallo says Lanterns looks great. Wait. Oh yeah, looks great, but music is Home Depot core. I like the music choice, and it's just a trailer. It's not.
You know what's funny? I think the first thing Rob said when he came into the studio this morning was that music was banger.
Yeah.
He the very first thing he met, I thought the music was perfect, especially for the feel and the tone they're going for. But again, your opinion of it is no less valid than ours. I'm just saying we had a very different response. So I thought it was perfect for the trailer. It's not something I'm going to put on when I'm in the car and listen to, but for the trailer, I thought it was great.
And we don't even know that it's in the show. So
yeah.
Vika says, Doomsday director of photography of Singer's X movies. Was that intentional?
Probably not. I mean, look, there are actors who show up in all kinds of movies and cinematographers that show up in all types of movies.
Yeah.
I probably not intentional. It's probably just like, oh, this is a great cinematographer. He'll be great for us. And they just brought him on. But I don't think there's any continuation there.
Zach Taylor, love your editorials. Hope you do more of them.
Listen, yeah, I've done a couple of editorials lately that I put up on the channel, and they've done very well. And you know what? Honestly, I love doing them. Don't get me wrong, I love doing the live shows. But the reason most people don't do live shows is because it exposes you. Right? It's hard. Like, ever since I've been doing this all the way back in the movie talk days and the For Your Consideration days, and before that, even to the movie blog days, I'll have a lot of people go, wow, John, you freeze on names a lot. It's like, actually, I don't. for every 50 or 60 things I bring up off the top of my head, yeah, I'll hit one. It's like, oh, what was the name of the guy in that thing? Or which was the name of the movie again with Nathan Fillion and that guy? Yeah, I do. Because I'm doing the show live. And I'm trying to talk about 120 topics all at once. And I guarantee you, if you did an hour and a half to 2 hour daily show talking about 50 or 60 different things that come up over here and there, you're going to freeze on some names too, a lot more than I do. And so one of the great things about the editorials is that I get to sit down and actually sculpt out a script. I actually get to write a script, give real thought to each thing I want to say. Whereas suppose when I'm doing the show, I'm just talking off the top of my head. And I tell you what, 100% every single day when I go back and review the show, which I do every day, after the show is done, one of the very first things I do is I go back and I review the show. Every single day, I'm like, oh, why didn't I mention this? Or damn it, why didn't I bring up these points? Or, oh my God, I said that, but that was wrong. That's actually incorrect. There's this, right? Because we're doing it live and I'm just talking off the top of my head. I really do love doing those editorials, to actually sit down, craft out the script, then record it, edit it, all that kind of stuff. Stuff that we don't do when we're live, which is why most people don't do it live. The problem though, and it's funny you bring that up because Rob and Jonathan and I were talking about this earlier, is that to do one 5-minute editorial, 5, 6, 7-minute editorial, between when I start typing out the script and getting it right to where I want it to be and then recording it, editing it, and uploading it, it's like a 4 or 5 hour process. Like it's a 4 or 5 hour process on top of everything else that I do. I have considered before not doing the John Campea Show live. I have considered it. And just doing pre-recorded individual videos that I can do in the form of editorials and really plan them out right, script them out right, get all the information in it that I want to make sure I have in it and all that kind of stuff. But that would be a very, very long process. That would be a really long process. So I think I'm going to try to aim to do 1 or 2 editorials a week if I have the right topics to do them, and then just keep doing the show as normal. But thank you for the kind words, man. I really appreciate that because I really do enjoy doing those editorials and a lot of work goes into them. So thank you for your kind words. All right, what's next?
All right, we got our final 4 here. What are the odds David Harbour's playing Eric Frankenstein in Clayface? Are the Creature Commandos in Clayface?
Well, I mean, remember, James Gunn has said that when he was putting out Creature Commandos, that all the characters, that it is canon to the DCU, and that everybody who does the voice of characters are going to play their live action counterparts if they do. Now, I think there will be some exceptions. I do. But I don't think that'll be one of the exceptions, to be honest with you. All right, what's next?
Bunyan follows up in Lanterns. Will we see a young Hal Jordan teaming up with Oliver Queen in flashbacks?
Nah.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Because I think James Gunn wants to have an Oliver Queen in his DCU. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you're going to have I don't think they're going to do that. So no, I don't know that they're not, but you're asking me if I think they will. I don't think they will.
We got GB Gamer's View says, I predict Squirrel Girl and Doomsday or Secret Wars. I don't know. I doubt it.
I'm going to say no. Listen, do I think we'll see Squirrel Girl pop up in the MCU? I do. Do I think Doomsday and Secret Wars are the tone that you bring a character like that in? I don't. So again, I don't know the answer. I mean, Secret Wars could pop up. Who knows? But I'm going to guess no.
All right. And our final one from JT Hiskey says, good meeting you in Salt Lake City. Thanks for letting me show off my tattoos. Do you think Bruce Banner is the one who created the spider that bit Peter? And that's the connection in Brand New Day.
I had never considered that possibility.
That is a possibility. Is gamma radiation involved with?
I don't remember if it was gamma radiation, like Hulk's gamma
Yeah.
radiation. It might have been another type of radiation. I honestly can't
But
remember off the top of my head.
regardless, it's not a bad.
It's an irradiated spider.
Yeah.
That's, you know what? That's a really cool theory. I'm going to guess no. But one of the things that we have heard is that Spider-Man goes to Banner to talk about mutation because apparently,
Right. Oh yeah.
apparently the whispers going around is that Peter is literally starting to mutate into a spider. Kind of like Jeff Goldblum in The Fly. And like he's going through changes, and he goes to Banner to talk about mutation. Enter with Sadie Sink as Jean Grey to further the mutation theme. So I don't think they're going to do that say that Banner is the one who actually created the spider that ultimately bit him. But I love the theory. That could be a really interesting way to tie it all together. I don't think they're going to do it, but it is a really cool idea. All right, guys. And that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. And number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Hey guys, don't forget to come on back and join us again tomorrow. We'll look forward to seeing you then. Big thanks, of course, to writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett, our technical director Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
My name is John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.